Hi everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Art, and today I want to talk to you guys about healing, really focusing on your healing and moving past the anger and the sadness and the incredible grief of never having what you've been through be acknowledged, not by your family and especially not by your abuser. Because this is something that happens to all of us who come from these systems. The abuse that we've been through will never be acknowledged, and we're going to be treated as if there's something wrong with us, as if what happened to us was something that we deserved. And when we try to speak to our families, when we try to make peace, when we want, to have conversations with our family members about what we've been through for closure, for healing, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen, and we are often left to deal with our pain on our own without support. This lack of acknowledgement, this lack of accountability is really the missing piece, because if they acknowledge what they've done to you, if they acknowledge what the dysfunction of the entire family, then the entire bubble and that they've created around themselves is gonna collapse. And without this accountability, without acknowledgement of what happened to us, we don't get closure. And what happens is that the grief just lingers on and on and on, and we get stuck in these cycles of rumination, of trying to see what can we say to make them see us. What can we do to make them finally listen to us? Do we have to scream? Do we have to behave really well? Do we have to comply? Do we have to rebel? No matter what we do, you will find that it doesn't matter what route any of us take. The acknowledgement will never ever be there, and we will never be treated fairly. We will never be treated like we matter. Even when you move on, even if you go no contact like I have, or if you go low contact, this lack of validation can really linger for a long time, because it feels like the abuse is still ongoing, because there's no closure. So deep down inside, it will feel like you're still fighting those demons, even though you've created a safe distance for yourself. And what that means for us is that healing really has to come from our ability to self-validate. We have to learn how to validate ourselves and how to trust ourselves. This is about letting go of the fantasy that things will change someday. It's about letting go of the fantasy that maybe you will get justice someday and that your pain will be seen. And this is really, really, really hard to do. It's actually a really traumatic thing to have to admit to ourselves and go through. It will cause incredible grief, in knowing that, there's nothing left to do. We've tried everything and there's nothing left to do. There's nothing left to do. Our pain will never be acknowledged. And even though logically we may know that there's nothing left to do and our pain will never be acknowledged, deep down inside, that feeling will still linger for a really long time. Okay, we're grieving the fact that we don't have a family anymore, that the people who should have been our parents, who should have protected us, who should have loved us, who should have been there for us, those figures do not exist, and they never will. And we're also grieving that hope that someday something will change. We're grieving that feeling, the hope that we've held on to for so long, thinking that maybe they'll turn around and maybe there's something that you can do to make them finally see you. And so this is double grief. You don't have the parents that you deserve, that you were supposed to have, and you never will. And this is devastating, and this is painful. And what happens is that your nervous system remains on high alert. Even if you've gone no contact, your body can register this unresolved issue as still being a threat to your well-being. And when they refuse to acknowledge what happened to you, you know, it may feel like you're still in danger. Like your mind will interpret it as if, you know, you're still fighting those demons. And I'm talking about when you've gone no contact. It can feel like that. And this will keep you in a loop of this protective anger and this defensive sadness, which just lingers on and on and on and on. We all want peace, you know, and when this peace is denied, it will create this double injury, right? Is the dismissal of the original abuse, of everything that we've been through, and also the hurt that you've experienced while being abused by your narcissistic parent, which all of it is absolutely traumatic. And this will keep your wound open because in our psyche, the psyche is still going to continue trying to seek for that closure for all the injustice that we've ever been through. It's like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be angry about what happened to me. You know, I'm not supposed to like just let this go. I'm supposed to like hold on to this and fight for my right to have validation, and fight for my right to be seen and heard and understood. And so for me, moving on from that was one of the most difficult things that I had to do. And the first thing that I did for myself on a regular basis was name my truth on a daily basis. I journaled about it and a lot, and I reminded myself on a daily basis that I am dealing with, first of all, my mother being a really sick woman, an emotionally, psychologically sick woman. And I reminded myself on a daily basis that actually I was never the bad guy in this story. I was a child and I was dealing with someone who was extremely unhealthy, and I had to do what to do to protect myself by setting boundaries, even though it wasn't accepted by the rest of my family, and even though they never gave me a validation. Now, for me, the most important thing was teaching myself that I am justice itself. The justice is not going to be given to me through an external means. It's something that I have to feel within me. My personal justice is the fact that I set down some boundaries. They no longer have access to me. She no longer has access to her scapegoat. Nobody has any access to their usual dumping ground for the family issues. Nobody can say that I am the one who caused whatever imagined things that, you know, she would come up with, because I'm not there anymore. Okay? And now that's gonna be on them. I've done everything that I could do while I was in contact with them, and I will not do anymore. I did let them know that she needed help. I was powerless during that time. I was a child, I was a teenager, and even as an adult, I was told that if I were to bring mental health professionals into this, I was gonna get disowned. So, you know, I'm clean, and they will never have the privilege of knowing me. They will never have the privilege of having me love them. They will never have my love ever again. They will not have the privilege of me taking care of them and me being there for them. Okay? And this is justice, and it's their loss. And I am somebody, and I matter. And you are somebody, and you matter. You have a lot to offer. You know, you have been through a lot, and you are strong. You're a survivor. You have so much to offer to all the people that you meet moving towards the future, you know? And there's so much more to you than the role that they gave you. And this is something that they will never have the privilege of knowing. You are justice itself. And it's really important to give your anger and your sadness and your emotions sort of a container of some sort, because you don't want that to spill into your everyday life all the time. What I did personally is that I had my journal, and every time that those feelings would come up, whether it was guilt or incredible deep sadness or like whatever emotion I was having, I would always remember, okay, well, I have a journal and all my thoughts are written in there. I don't have to think about this right now. Right now I need to focus on my kids, on my work, on what I do. And, maybe later tonight I can take a few minutes of my day and I can read my journal. I can, just take a look at what I wrote to remind myself of what I've been through. But that doesn't have to take over my life all the time, okay? So you have to sort of learn to contain your feelings so that you allow yourself to also start living your life beyond the narcissistic family system. There's so much more to life than that dysfunction. There's so much more, and you know this. And every time that you take a step towards recreating yourself, every time that you do this is justice, because that's not what they want. What they want is for you to crawl back. What they want is for you to crawl back with tears and, please take me back, but that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen, because where that road leads. Okay, so focus on yourself and remember that you are justice. I love myself, I trust myself, and I see you soon.